Look, I'm going to be real with you. You don't accidentally get to 10% body fat. Nobody wakes up shredded because they just cleaned up their diet or started doing a few extra push-ups or even an extra session. You got to earn it. But here's the thing. Most guys don't fail because they're lazy. They fail because they're following the wrong rules. They don't see results, they burn out, they relapse over and over and over again, and they never get to 10%. What if I told you there's a smarter way to get lean without completely starving yourself, overtraining, or just hating your life? Well, in this video, I'm going to cover exactly how to do that. I spent the last 8 years coaching thousands of men into the best shape of their lives, dropping fat, building muscle, and staying lean without giving up their sanity. And I've done it all myself whilst competing as a pro bodybuilder and working at a 9-to-5 office job in London. So this isn't theory. This actually works if you're a busy guy and you just want to lose those extra pounds of fat and get to 10%. Now listen, each rule builds on the last, so stick with me to the end and you'll walk away with the full picture and a way to actually get lean and stay lean for good. Let's get into it. The first rule is that you must accept there is going to be a period of discomfort, sacrifice, restriction, and maybe even boredom. The good news is all of those feelings are going to make you a better person in the long run. You will learn to build discipline, say no to things that give you short-term comfort but long-term discomfort, and most importantly, you will actually start becoming a version of yourself that you are proud of. The second bit of bad news is when I say a period of, I do mean a number of months. Depending on what body fat percentage you're currently at, this is not weeks and it's definitely not days. And I've been thinking of a lot of common phrases that we're all familiar with, and I have a solid one for this rule. Easy choices, hard life. Hard choices, easy life. The guy who lets easy choices dominate his decision making will unfortunately and ultimately end up dissatisfied, pretty purposeless, and in a worst case scenario, not in good health. And the sick man only wishes for one thing. When you don't have your health, it is a definition of a hard life. But it may well just be a result of your easy choices. On the other hand, the guy who demonstrates he can make the hard choices will ultimately have an easier life. He will garner self-respect, self-control, and confidence in himself. And his thousands of hard choices will compound to a life of purpose, satisfaction, and the ability to follow through on what he said he was going to do. And you can bet his bottom dollar that his hard choices led him to take care of his body. So as he gets older, he worries much less about his health. And when there is an inevitable health scare, he's more resilient, he stands a better chance. The second rule is a practical one. Unless you're already 10% body fat and you're maintaining it with ease, which I guess you're not because you're watching this video, you have to track your food intake. And I mean every last morsel of food or drink that passes your lips, except for maybe water, black coffee and tea, and maybe the occasional diet soda drink. At the start of your mission, tracking your food is not negotiable. And if anyone tells you that tracking is unhealthy or obsessive, tell them to kindly piss off back to their wellness retreat in Bali. No, it's not. It's a foolproof way to get where you want to get to with your body. Look, would you try and save up for a house deposit without tracking your spending or without putting a set amount of money away each month? So why do you think that you can change your whole body, transforming the way you look in the mirror and how you feel about yourself without tracking a meal? There will become a time in the future where you can eyeball food. You've weighed enough bowls of rice or oats to know what 1 cup is, and enough tablespoons of almond butter to know that a tablespoon is never 15 grams like they say it is. But if you've never been to 10% body fat, never been happy with your waistline, and you're still searching for how to get there, that time is unfortunately not now. The good news is once you do learn it is a skill for life. I like to call it nutritional literacy. It's the knowledge that a glass of orange juice and some granola is not a good option for breakfast. And it's the understanding that that skinny latte with syrup that Karen keeps ordering every day has at least 30 grams of carbs in it, and it's probably the reason she is not skinny. It's the insight that half the salads on the restaurant menu have almost the same calories as the tasty burger once you account for that heavy dressing they put on top. So yeah, the bottom line is you do need to track because nutrition can be a complete minefield, and MyFitnessPal is your safe route through the minefield. Of course, if you're one of those self-proclaimed technophobes, I mean, firstly, come on brother, get with the times. But secondly, you can just write out a meal plan that you follow every single day, which just eliminates the guesswork. You do still need to weigh your food though, and this way you really have zero flexibility, so I don't recommend it. The third rule, I'm back with some mindset gems. Never, ever, ever let a loss turn into another loss, and always follow up a loss with a win. Look, getting to 10% body fat is hard. If it wasn't, everyone would be walking around like Zac Efron in Baywatch. And the truth is, if it's your first time trying to get there, it's not going to be plain sailing, and that is fine. Because unless you're a complete robot, I'd bet money on there being moments that you give in to temptation. Why? Because the world is literally programmed today to make you eat, and eat a lot. I get more texts from Deliveroo than I do from my mates from school. Wait, I literally grew up with with those guys. Anyway, my point is, you're not just fighting your cravings. You're fighting an entire system that is built to make you overconsume. Hyper-palatable foods, ads everywhere, convenience culture, food engineered in laboratories to override your hunger signals. Do you think our ancestors had to deal with this shit? No. And studies back this up. That dopamine hit you get from processed foods, it's literally designed to mimic addictive substances. There are actual scientists with actual degrees dialing in the perfect sugar, salt, fat combo to keep you hooked. So you know that moment of bliss when the chocolate bar melts in your mouth and the way you just don't feel in control of your hand as it keeps dipping into the Pringles tube and shoveling more in your mouth? It's real and it's weaponized. So no, you're not just weak, you're human. And you're human in an environment that's basically designed to test your discipline every 30 minutes. And listen, I've competed at the highest level, so I'll level with you. I've done the meal prep, I've done the macros, I've eaten chicken out of Tupperware in a car park, and even my record is not 100%. There have been moments where I've slipped, days of eating something that I didn't plan. But what kept me in the game wasn't perfection, it was recovery. I never let a bad meal become a bad day, and I always followed a loss with a win. And that mindset, that is what gets you to 10%. Not flawless execution, although that would be great, but ruthless consistency over time. And look, real quick, if you're tired of spinning your wheels, putting in the effort, but never quite seeing it show up in the mirror, and you're done guessing, done second guessing, done third guessing, and you just want a real plan that actually works, click the link in my description, and let's see if we might be a good match to get you locked in before summer hits. But your time is running out, and let's be honest, nothing changes if nothing changes. Rule number 4, back with some more practical advice. Nobody gets lean and stays lean and happy without staying active. 10% body fat without moving, that's a fast track to misery. This is about something called high energy flux, and it is one of the most underrated tools for getting lean and staying lean without losing your mind. Here's the deal. High energy flux means you're basically eating more and burning more. So more food, but more movement. I call that more life. And most people get this completely backwards. They start dieting and they think the way to lose fat is just to eat less and less and less and less. The portions get smaller, there's less meals, your happiness disappears. And that's what we call low energy flux. It works until it doesn't. You feel flat, your lifts tank, your hunger ramps up, your mood crashes. Sex drive? Not on this earth, mate. High energy flux is the opposite. You keep your body in a high output state. You train hard, you walk a lot, you stay active, and that lets you eat more, recover better, and actually function like a high performance human, rather than some fragile dieter holding on for dear life. But here's where people screw it up. They assume that doing 5 gym sessions a week is enough to earn high food intake. And I hate to break it to you, brother, but it's not. Resistance training doesn't burn that many calories. A solid lifting session burns about 6 calories per minute, and that's maybe 300 to 400 calories in total, if you're lucky. So yeah, it's great for building muscle, but it's certainly not a calorie furnace. That's the equivalent of a protein bar and a banana. It's not exactly that calorie burning holy grail that people think it is. So what do? You stack movement on top of your training in the gym. You get your steps up, you add cardio, you just live like someone who moves. This isn't just about aesthetics, it's about how your body functions. A meta-analysis showed that for every 1,000 steps you do per day, you reduce your risk of all-cause mortality by 15%. That is monstrous. So what does that mean? Well, walking more could literally save your life, keep you living longer, and keep you leaner while doing it. It doesn't need to be complicated. Take phone calls while you're on the walk, do walking meetings, take the stairs or the escalator rather than the elevator, get a post-dinner walk in, hit 8 to 12k steps a day as your base, get a walking pad, because the secret isn't just in the gym, it's in what you do between your workouts. And when you pair that with training, decent nutrition, you get a high energy flux. Now you're cooking. You don't just lose fat, you become the type of person who stays lean by default. You train your metabolism to run hot. Your body starts working with you and not against you. And best of all, you get to eat real meals. You're not sitting there with 4 asparagus spears and some white fish and calling it dinner. So the next time someone tells you they train 5 times a week but still can't get lean, check the other 24 hours of their day. Because staying lean isn't about just being perfect in the gym, it's about having the lifestyle. All right, rule number 5, let's get a little bit more positive. Let's end on a high. Know what to expect and how to recognize progress, especially in that first 4 weeks. If you're still watching this video, I know you've got it in you to get to 10% body fat. Why? Well, because I've hardly made it sound like a walk in the park and you're still listening. So rule number 5 is all about the progress you're going to see within that first 4 weeks. How's it going to look? What's it going to feel like? What should you look for? And look, this is going to depend largely on what your start point looks like, but what I can tell you is how each stage will feel regardless of your start point, because everyone goes through these. Step 1, motivated, excited, and just buzzing to get stuck in. You probably had enough, right? No matter how hard it feels, you're just going to lock in. You will feel better within yourself after just one day, because you're finally doing what you said you were going to do. You actually followed through on your word, and that is an accomplishment in itself. Before you start, take some pictures, no matter how much you don't like them. Take them from the front, the side, and the back in good, repeatable lighting. We're going to come back to these later on. Stage 2. All right, you're starting to feel a bit hungry now. This is normal too. Your body will need to adjust to the new calorie intake. You'll feel your cravings increase, your appetite might feel larger, and you'll want to break. Don't. It will pass in a few days, and you'll normalize again. Stage 3, one of two things happens. Number 1, you're a few weeks in, you've actually lost some weight on the scales. Awesome. But wait, you don't see anything in the mirror. Okay. Unfortunately, this is a bit where you realize you might be carrying a bit more fat than you thought. It's all right, don't worry. Take some more pictures in the same spot, and I can almost guarantee you will see a difference, especially in that side profile. Check how far your chest sticks out versus your stomach. Scenario 2, you're actually not losing weight, but you feel better. You feel leaner, people are commenting, your clothes feel different. This might sound a bit frustrating, but it's actually a huge win. You're losing fat and building muscle. Compare the pictures, and you will absolutely be happy with what you see. I want you to compare your pictures every few weeks, maybe every 3 to 4 weeks, not every week. In the early stages, it's absolutely critical that we keep our positivity high and just focus on building consistency. Any thoughts of, oh, it's not working, what's the point? They're going to cost you. They will never get you to 10%. Stage 4, you're now settled into routine, you have momentum, and you're progressing each week. From here, just make small tweaks as and when needed. Remove 100 calories from your daily calories if you see a clear, sustained stall, or maybe increase your expenditure via steps or cardio. Stage 5, persevere. At this point, it's about rinsing and repeating. Only look back to see how far you've come, or something like that.